everyone, and welcome once again to Gotham Discussions. I'm Captain Logan.
And I'm Steve Baxi.
Today we're here to talk about, what is this, episode 13, 14 of Gotham?
13, I think.
This is the Blind Fortune Teller. This is the introduction, or maybe the one time we'll see them, I don't know, of the Flying Graysons. And we're going to go ahead and just jump right into it. As always, we're filming in front of a live internet audience. Hello, live internet audience. And they'll be giving us their questions and comments as we go through the show, periodically giving us some contributions and giving us some extra things to talk about and debate and discuss. Let's go ahead and jump right into it with Steve Baxi's immediate thoughts. Steve, what did you think of this episode, and what is your best moment and your worst moment, sir?
So this episode was really confusing to me, because last week we had the Scarecrow, which is probably one of the most brilliant reinventions of a character since Heart of Ice, as far as Batman villains go. And then you get this, and it just feels so counter to what they were doing previously. Like, how can the same team write that episode and this episode? Because I thought everything with the quote-unquote Joker and the Flying Graysons was just really bad. I hated this element of it's a Romeo and Juliet thing and their families feud, but we don't get any information whatsoever about this feud, and then they're just together at the end, and they hammer the point home that Gordon's the one that got them back together, and they just make it really obvious and really cheesy. Wow, talk about the wrong way to go with that, especially after such an inspired Scarecrow take. I hate Leslie in this episode too. She's really pushy. She's really irritating. She's obsessive, and it's almost as bad as Robert. Not because of the actress, but just what is it with Gordon picking women that are just so unhinged in certain cases? It's really strange that for whatever reason she can't even let Gordon eat. They have to go and investigate this. I didn't care for that at all. Although my worst moment is the Barbara moment at the very end when Barbara walks in on them kissing. Pretty much everything we had with this in Barbara. I hated Barbara. I don't understand what she was doing. I don't understand what's going on. How dare she be mad at the guy that she cheated on and move on with his life? Really, come on. It's just crazy. Best moment though is the Bruce Wayne stuff. I love the whole Batman and Robin callback of Bruce being in the boardroom and talking to people like they did in Grant Morrison's comics. I think that's just a fun image. I also love the way the kid's able to deliver, like, business speak.
Yeah!
Like, he sounds like Bruce. But, no, yeah, that's my best moment. Overall, I really didn't care for this episode. It feels like such a jump in quality from what we had with Scarecrow.
I think the reason you're saying that, and maybe this is something, okay, this is my read on it, Steve. I don't think the Scarecrow episode was that much better than it has been lately. I just think that their idea for what to do with him was so inspired that it elevated that episode a lot. I don't think the writing was that much better than it has been. I don't think that the, because what's funny is last time, all the stuff we wanted to talk about was the villain plot. That was like 10-15 minutes of the episode, right? Like what we said we didn't know how we felt about the Cobblepot stuff. It was okay. We didn't really like the Fish Mooney stuff. We didn't really care. We were kind of bored by it. So I don't know. I think it was just that every now and again they have like these really great ideas, and they'll be in the middle of the ongoing stuff that's just kind of dull and meandery. And my whole review of this episode is who cares? That's how I feel about most of this. The Flying Grayson stuff was just an excuse to put in more stuff, more Batman stuff we've heard of. How incredibly convenient is it that you have all of this Batman lore stuff that's all popping up in the first season right after Jim Gordon shows up. We're like 13, 14 episodes in, and we've already had the Scarecrow, and we've had, I mean, okay, so we have a lot of villains that are like, that are like there in the very beginning, which is okay because they're like already established and already there, but like, how many things just suddenly show up because Jim Gordon's there, just because we've decided we have a show now? Wouldn't it be a lot more interesting if the idea was, and I think this is what they think they're doing in a way, that the idea is Bruce's parents get killed and then everything spirals out of control, and that's how you get Batman stuff. That's how you get Gotham more the way we know it. And that whole thing we were talking about at the very beginning, Steve, that we've rarely brought up again because the show's not inspiring this kind of conversation, that the question of Gotham creating Batman instead of Batman creating Gotham. And what we, and so it's just too easy. It's just too, and it's kind of silly, really. Okay, so I'm sure what they're doing at the end is Jim Gordon is indirectly responsible for the birth of Dick Grayson.
Yeah, I hated that. Oh,
really?
I didn't need that.
Okay. And it's just your standard cute prequel thing. I'm supposed to be like, oh, that's so cool. It's Dick Grayson. No. You know, okay, whatever. So they did that. Now that I know that they're capable of that kind of stuff, and I mean, I knew they were to a degree, but like, oh man. Honestly, I'm in a place right now where I kind of don't think that there's any way the show would make it if it weren't a Batman thing. Because I don't think that it just doesn't work on its own, and it needs to. You know what I mean? It needs to work in spite of being a Batman thing, or in tandem with that idea. And it isn't. So on to things that I don't care about. The fish Mooney stuff. So it's more interesting than it was last episode. I think that like the way that she creates leverage and gets everybody in the prison on board with her, with like, I'm going to kill anyone they try to take out of here to save everybody else, and like ends justifies the means. I thought that worked really well, but I don't know why I'm supposed to care. That's the problem, is that she still remains this really, really over the top kind of archetype, and I just don't know why I'm watching those scenes. I don't know why that matters. Is it like this? Do they think that they need to show us how she climbed to power in the first place? Is that what it is? Like, I'm supposed to see what her skill set is now, well, after the fact? Or is this demonstrating what she's capable of so that she can move back into Gotham and start taking over things again? Why am I watching this part? I don't know. I'm with you. The Bruce stuff was great. That boardroom scene was so tense. I was really excited about that. As he starts talking and just is really blunt and is like, here's what's wrong with my family's company. I was like, Alfred was right. You're in big trouble, man. Like, you're crazy. And I thought that kind of risk was really exciting. And I hope it doesn't go in an obvious place where like he just gets kidnapped next episode or something. But I really liked it. And I really like the way that they tried to treat him like a kid, but he wouldn't have it. And like as it went along more and more, they were having a really hard time seeing him as older than 13. I don't know, that whole thing was really cool. Okay, so best moment, worst moment. Let me throw this out really quick. I'm sorry, I know I've been talking for a while. My best moment was I guess Fish establishing order against the bosses at the prison thing, because it's a really good scene. Just the way that's played, I thought it was really well written. It was really well acted. I have a number of just bad moments. I had like 6 contenders for worst moment, and I'll mention some of them just because I think some of these are a little bit amusing. So. The big one is what you said, and it's hard for me not to just jump out of my chair and scream in pain. Barbara walks in just when Leslie and Jim are kissing, like you said. What? Again? You're gonna just keep doing that? And, like, I'm supposed to not see it as incredibly convenient and Uber TV typical, and I'm so tired of talking about that scene! I just couldn't even believe what I was looking at! Anyway, I think my eyes looked like this from then on, until the end of the episode. I was just, what is, really? Okay, alright. I know it's a pet peeve thing of mine, but, I guess what I'm saying is, if I ever finish counting Crypto Freaks, counting Gotham will be the next thing. Barbara in the apartment with Catwoman and Poison Ivy, why is she living there, or why is she letting them stay there? I don't know what all that's about. What was the point, by the way, of that whole thing with her parents? I kind of thought maybe we would, I don't know, hang out with them for a minute and learn something about them. She just goes there, and there's this weird scene. They act like they're building to something, like they're setting something up. We never go there again? Oh, okay. There's a lot of just, I don't know why I'm watching what I'm watching right now. This is a little tiny one, but I think it's hilarious. So Gordon growls even when it's not about dangerous things. Did you notice this? Gordon, And he does this a lot. I thought that was and I think it's okay sometimes when it's like when it's like, oh man, this city's so corrupt but he's so over the top in this. There's this part where they're having dinner and Leslie's like, we got to go out and investigate this now, and he goes, now. You want to investigate now? And I was like, wow, dude. I'm just saying, if I was dating that guy, I don't think I would be dating him about it. That would creep me the heck out, you know what I'm saying? And the kid with the super creepy Joker face was such an obvious plant. It was like, no, that's not gonna be the Joker. And I was like, you just did that so the fans would all freak out about it. I'm sure the fans are freaking out about that. But jeez. Anyway, okay, so I'll start looking at comments, Steve, and you latch on to anything I said, and I'll elaborate, anything you want to talk about.
Yeah, the big thing of the mystery of Joker's mother's death and the reveal that the blind fortune teller guy is his dad and the kid's just a sociopath.
Wait, you mean Dick Grayson's mother's death? Is that
the
Joker. I'm sorry. You just said the Joker, and I was like, wait, am I missing a thing? Or you just saying the Joker kid? Yeah.
The Joker kid and his real dad being the blind fortune teller dude, and Joker turns out to be the one that killed his own mom.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm caught up now.
I didn't care for any of that. I thought it was just really kind of generic. I didn't care about the kid. They didn't even see the fact that he was a sociopath. And the kid's not a bad actor or anything.
No,
he's kind of got a fuse of Heath Ledger and Jack Nicholson going on, both in his face and the way he moves around and stuff. I think, 10 years he could be a pretty decent Joker, but I just don't care about his character. I wish they would actually confirm something instead of just dangling it in front of us like we're satisfied with that. It makes me feel like we're being treated like children by the authors or by the writers of the show, because they're just like, well, if we latch on a name to something or we latch on a reference, then automatically you must love it. And that just feels really immature, and I don't really care for how they're doing the Joker stuff yet. But, it's all right. I guess if going forward he actually turned out to be the Joker and we do some interesting character stuff, then it could be redeemed. It's just a really bad introduction to that popular of a character.
I don't think there's any way that's what's going on. I think that was a teasing and fan service, and this show teases a lot. And what it tends to do is put in a thing that makes you think about something, and then it turns out not to be that, and it's just really super awkward. They keep doing that, and I think that's probably what that Joker kid thing is. Unless they've decided that it would be fun to have the kid that becomes the Joker be kind of responsible for Dick Grayson being born in the first place. Kind of.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe that's the thing, but I don't know. It just seems like, any way you slice it, Batman's just not going to feel all that important compared to Jim Gordon. If you ever finally got to Batman in this, because Jim Gordon is the thing that changes everything. And I mean, that's interesting, but Jim Gordon's just existence in a TV show is part of what's changing everything. It's just, you can see the writing behind it. That's the problem.
Yeah. No, and I mean, I enjoyed the show early on. I am kind of a defender of it. I think it's fun when it wants to be, but there are way too many moments where they feel like just making a reference is good enough to build a whole episode, and that's not the way to do it at all.
I just don't think they have any idea what they're doing. I mean, I don't trust it now. It's and I don't mean to be super negative about it. It's just it's so meandering. It doesn't know where it's going. It doesn't it can't. It's not holding my attention very well. I still love performances. I still love the atmosphere. And as I keep saying, I somewhat look forward to it. I think less so than even the last time I said that. But I somewhat look forward to it just because I enjoy being in this world. But it doesn't have much of an internal logic. It's kind of just all over the place. Let me read some questions and comments here. William Parcelli, is it a bad thing that I want Barbara to die? Not really. Well, I don't know why we're still following her. I mean, they're not even dating now. I'm sure this is going to be an on-again, off-again thing where they'll be right back together.
Oh, it's going to be the drama of every season, I bet you.
You were talking about Leslie. I'm just going to assume I'm going to not allow myself to fall in love with female characters in the show, because as soon as they start dating someone, I'm going to hate them. It's not that Gordon. See, you're giving it too much credit when you say that Gordon goes after certain kinds of women. No, when Gordon picks a woman and starts dating her, they just start writing relationships. And when that happens, they turn reprehensible. She doesn't have her personality of her own. The idea that she's this enormous thrill seeker is interesting, and I would love to think that maybe eventually we'll find out why that is and see something about her past and how she's become the way she's become. But I don't trust it. I don't trust that that's coming from a place. I hope it is.
Yeah, and I mean, that's a cool way to set up what Leslie would eventually become in the comics. But again, you just have to do character stuff with it. You have to progress it. You have to make it seed and follow. But they just keep throwing traits onto her, and they make her annoying. And I don't really care what happens to her at this point.
Somebody calling himself Batman wants to know why he's not in Gotham. I think that's funny. Somebody else said...
Playing Bruce Wayne 7 years from now totally could be Batman.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
He's fantastic.
Somebody said, and I'm trying to find it, that there was apparently, and I don't have a source for this, but there was apparently an interview somewhere where the showrunner of this wants to do, like, a teenage Ra's al Ghul in Gotham.
No.
Yeah.
No.
I knew you'd say that.
No.
I just think that it's like he's got a shoehorn in everything.
Yeah, and I mean, Ra's al Ghul's really overexposed these past few years. Ever since Batman Begins comes out, he's like the mastermind behind everything. And that's annoying on its own, but come on. Teenage Ra's al Ghul? Really?
Teenage Ra's al Ghul.
Come on. That's a sitcom waiting to happen.
Yes, it is. I'm sorry, give me just a second here. For a minute there.
Hopefully they don't resort to stuff like that. Hopefully he's just joking.
Well, but by the time we get... See, I don't think that guy could make a joke and you'd, like... And you'd realize it was a joke at this point. It was something like that, right? I just feel like... Once we get to the end of the season, we've done so much stuff. We've done everybody that unless, like I said last episode, we start going back to those characters and elaborating and doing stuff with them, it's going to feel like we ran out of steam really early, and we're just going to start going to really obscure characters and pretending like it's a big, huge, giant deal, because we're kind of exhausting everybody else.
Yeah. Yeah. It's going to feel really anticlimactic if this show's on for 10 years and Batman finally shows up. Like, what's he gonna fight? Why does it even matter at that point?
I don't think that just because this is a Batman show or a show with Batman characters that it would last longer than a couple of seasons. I think that people are already abandoning it. And again, I don't want that. I just want it to turn back around and be like it was the first couple episodes. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think it's unsalvageable. We just, you know. I will be right on board with it if we start getting that caliber writing we had in the Balloon Men. I should mention, by the way, that first of all, this episode title is really funny because it kind of just spells out everything. And I mean, that's hilarious. And we keep doing this thing where we're naming episodes after characters that aren't on screen for very long. But anyway, so that guy once again is the bell dinging guy from Breaking Bad, and he's been in Constantine. He's been in this. That seems to be the go-to older bad guy for superhero shows. He's gonna be an Arrow. You just watch. It's gonna happen.
Keep playing roles like this because he's awesome in Constantine as Felix Faust. So,
I mean, I liked him in this, even though I, didn't like that whole subplot.
Barely in it, but he's just a really good actor.
Red Letter Antilles. Cap, what if they use Katie Lotz? Would you not like her in Gotham? I would have a hard time watching. I would need somebody to tell me what her character was like, because I don't think I could stand to watch her play a character like this.
Ooh, who could she play on this show? Now that you're saying that, she could be Black Canary's mom in this show. Oh,
that would be terrible. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Let's see.
It'd be horrible, but it'd be there.
Yeah. Who could she be? She could be. I mean, I can think of people that she'd be great for in like actual Batman, but as far as like Gotham, like people earlier, I don't know.
Yeah, I have no idea. I feel like if it was just a Batman thing, she'd be really cool as Zatanna. But...
Bamboo. I wonder if Gordon could have solved the Hatfield-McCoy feud like he did with the Haley thing. That's brilliant. Was that not super goofy? Like, the way they were playing that at the end, I was like, is this an 80s sitcom? What am I looking at? It's like, oh, thanks for solving...
came out of absolutely nowhere.
Thanks for solving this eons old feud, Jim Gordon. Now we can get together and Dick Grayson can be born. I just could not believe what I was looking at there. Mind the gap, mind the gap. Fish Mooney is now part of the Dollmaker plot. Oh, of course!
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that is what...
They're harvesting parts.
They're harvesting parts. That is what's going on. Okay. Well, at least they're connecting that back to something that was brought up earlier in the season. That's smart. No, that's cool. I
didn't think of that.
With her character, I still don't know really why I'm supposed to care, just because, she's...
Well, if they kill her, then, I mean, that'd be worth it.
Yeah. That may be why, but I think what'll happen is I think they're demonstrating what she's capable of so that she can come back and I think what I said earlier on in the season is actually where they're going. I changed my mind at one point and said that I thought that that she or Falcone would get killed. I think season 2 will be a giant gang war between her and Penguin.
And I think that'd be cool. I think that you could handle that pretty well, especially considering a gang war is another thing that's been brewing in Batman comics for a while now, and I'm sure they're going to use that trope again. But if you go back to, like, the Ludman level caliber writing, you go back to the Falcone that was in the pilot, that could be amazing.
Somebody in the comments named Ryder says that we're taking the show too seriously.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't if it was so gritty and serious and told me to take things seriously.
Yeah, I mean, it is still a silly goofy comic show in certain ways, but it's like dark comedy. You know what I mean? It's like black humor, and I just thought that was kind of working for it early on. It's not quite what it's been saying it was. Like, it's almost like it's already jumped the shark, like really early.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like a 24 level serious show. So
it thinks it is. It certainly thinks that. Fox certainly thinks that's what it is.
Yeah, and I mean, they do plot points that are fit for sitcoms with a tone that's Jack Bauer, and it just doesn't work.
William Parcell says that Nigma should quit the GCPD and become a private investigator. I love that idea.
Yes.
That's great.
Fantastic.
That would be really cool.
Riddler spinoff, potentially. That'd be awesome.
Well, you know what? We have not done quotes or anything, and it just occurred to me that we did another show earlier. We didn't do trivia or anything. I think because we have a really bizarre connection. So anyway, let's actually put our thinking caps on and do the show right. And did you have any quotes, Steve?
No, I didn't have any quotes. I thought the whole dialogue exchange Bruce had with his board was good, but just no specific line.
Yeah, I thought so too. As we talked about already. I thought, if not for my my mother's love life, I wouldn't be here, would I? I kind of liked that. Just because that's a thing that's always really funny with really angsty teenage characters, when they'll be like, how dare you do this? Like from before they were born, and then you're like, well, you realize that if that hadn't happened, you wouldn't be alive, right? So it was kind of funny that he said that. Of course, then he turns into like kind of a Joker thing, and you're just like, oh, he's a crazy person. So sometimes crazy people make more sense, I guess. I was really into this line. This Fantasia was conjured in your blinking mind. Wow, that's a doozy. And also, and this is not a thing I generally say on Geekvolution, but it's unusual to hear anyone say flying douchebags.
That is kind of weird.
I should mention that the what makes family a family theme is decent in the way that it holds all the subplots together. That's the major idea that's being explored, and in very different ways with every single subplot. I liked the way Fish Mooney talked about family and in the situation she's in, and how she defined it. And she's like, family is whoever you're stuck with and thrown together with, and I thought that was actually really kind of good.
Yeah, and it's also kind of following a trend too. Like just from episode 1 onward, there's always talk about families, and like Fish Mooney was Penguin's mother, and Mooney used Falcone's mother against him, and Penguin's got a thing for his mother right now and the way he treats her. So that's going to be really interesting to sit down and talk about in the season wraps.
And now she's taken on the motherly role. It'll be interesting to see if we don't get anything with like Leslie and her upbringing and her parents. Because I think that's likely to happen, given that the whole Thrill Seeker thing has got me interested. And like I said, I don't know if they'll go anywhere with it, but that's got to come from a place. We finally have another Penguin kill. We haven't had a Penguin kill in a long time. The guy who booed his mother, I loved how it was done off screen. I thought it was really funny. I don't know why they suddenly have a crowd. They couldn't get anybody there on opening night, but now there's a bunch of people there. I don't know what that's about.
Well, I think they were trying to give us the idea that it's not working. Like I felt like the way the whole club was shot, it felt like there was less people than there should be. And I saw people talking in the comments about, like, Penguin doesn't know how to run a club, and I think maybe that's the idea, but it could be made a little bit more clear.
Well, it was really empty last episode. That was supposed to be opening night. There seemed to be a lot more people there this time, I thought.
I don't know. I thought it was about the same amount. So
okay.
It's the way they shot it.
Maybe it's the way they shot it,
You can really get a sense of it.
Yeah, exactly. The thing about Victor Zsasz being able to reprogram people is really interesting.
Yeah, I'm not sure how I feel about using Butch, though. Because it feels like that's just overcomplicating it instead of just doing the logical thing of just killing Butch. Like, keeping him alive like this, you know it's going to turn into some weird, unnecessary drama with Fish.
Yeah, that's a good point. On the other hand, they might be able to explore the loyalty theme in an interesting way with it, potentially. But also...
Maybe, I mean, if it was anyone else that wasn't a recurring guest star, they would have just killed him.
That's a good point. You're also, it also continues to exacerbate the problem of just too many characters that we're supposed to pay attention to. Butch didn't strike me as a character.
Allen's still in the title credits, hasn't said a word of dialogue since the pilot.
Stop saying that! He hasn't been in the show in, like, 8 episodes!
But I mean, who's the point you're saying, right? Like, too many characters. What's with all of his main
But you keep saying they're not giving us any... He's not even in the show! Anyway, do you have a trivia question, Steve?
I do.
Okay, go ahead.
Let me grab my notes real quick. So in the comics, Joker was granted an ambassadorship by what country?
I used to know that. Oh, man! Was that... What arc, what series was that?
That was from Death in the Family, which is a really important story, but it's also a really bad written story.
Yeah, that's where I thought it was, and I can't remember it. Okay, I didn't think it was badly written. You and I are gonna have to duke it out over that at some point because I gave a really favorable review, and I've already reviewed it, but I guess I could review it again. But
you reviewed Death in the Family? Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I reviewed it with Dan. I think. Dan, did we review Death in the Family together?
Wasn't it Death of the Family that you reviewed?
Oh, yeah, that's right. No, I thought that's what you were talking about. Okay.
No, Death in the Family. The one where the Joker goes to the UN on behalf of this mysterious gunsmith.
Yeah, no, I've read that too. I guess I couldn't remember which part that happened. Okay, anyway, whatever. I got a lot of different shows swimming in my head right now. I thought I reviewed that with someone too at some point, but I'll have to look at it. Maybe not.
I will search it on your channel as we speak.
I probably would not have given that as favorable of a review. Okay. Anyway,
it's a weird story.
Let's see if yeah, that's pretty funny that anybody would do that with the Joker. Okay, my trivia question is always from the episode is what is Dooley's son doing in his hallucination? Because that was kind of oh, I'm sorry. Wait a minute. Is that the same show? No, that was my question for
Dooley.
That was my question for Agent Carter, and it was building a birdhouse.
Oh,
remember that? You remember that? Anyway,
yeah, that was a really creepy scene.
It was a creepy scene. Anyway, my Gotham question is, what does Gordon find with a symbol of the Hellfire Club on it? What is that? I can't believe that guy thought that would work, by the way. It's like, nobody's seen these people in, like, 50 years or something or more. or was it, like, even longer than that? Anyway. Okay, Steve, what is the answer to your question? We'll go ahead and wrap up the show.
The answer to my question is Iran.
It's all coming back to me now. The answer to my question is an axe. He finds this axe, and then he immediately is like, I don't think this makes any sense. Well, anyway, that's what we thought about Gotham this week. I'm very much in a I just don't know what I'm watching right now kind of place. It's interesting. The Bruce Wayne stuff's good, but beyond that, I don't know about it right now. I don't know about it right now.
Just make the Bruce Wayne show, and I think we'd be happier.
Well, isn't that what people wanted in the first place, Steve?
Yeah,
it's you're going to use these characters.
Gotham Central in the first place, instead of that Gotham High show that we're going to make.
Yeah. Yeah, but then there was
Although
that pitch.
Written like this Bruce Wayne stuff, Gotham High actually could have been really cool.
Well, there was that pitch for a cartoon show that was going to be. Did you ever see that in the early 2000s?
Yeah. Like the Batman kind of animation style.
Yeah, and it was going to be like all the villains and stuff in high school, but as teenagers, and it was going to look a lot like X-Men Evolution, and that would have been hilarious.
Yeah, and I mean, I like X-Men Evolution. If they did that well, that would have been really cool.
Well, anyway, thank everybody for watching, and thanks very much to our live internet audience. We appreciate you guys. We'll see you again next week. I'm Captain Logan.
I'm Steve Baxi.